Act 1. The beginning. 00 to 2:30. Black screen. Silence. Then, the sound of wind among stones. Voiceover. Slowly, wearily. They say gods die when people stop believing in them. That's not true. Gods die just like everyone else, from wounds, from hunger, from betrayal. I know this for certain, because I killed one of them. Slow footage. A broken stone altar, extinguished candles, animal bones. Mist crawls along the ground, the sky, heavy, leaden, starless. Voiceover. My name is Kyle. Once they called me the Protector, then the Executioner, then simply nothing. The nameless have no need for words, they only need work. A human silhouette appears, a cloak, a hood, a heavy stride, walking through a dead field. Voiceover. This land was once called the heart of the world. 7 temples stood here. 7,000 priests lived here. The eternal flame burned here, the one that, according to legend, was lit by the first god himself at the beginning of time. Now there is only ash. And me. A freeze frame on Kael's face, tired, with an old scar across his cheek. His gaze is empty, but not dead. Act 2. The Descent. 2:30 to 6:30. Kael enters the destroyed ruins of a temple. The camera wanders across the details. Broken statues, inscriptions on the walls, a dark stain on the floor, dried blood. Voiceover. It all began with a prophecy, as always. Prophecies are a convenient thing. They allow people to do terrible things and believe it must be so. It is written. The finest justification for the worst of deeds. Flashback. A blurred image. Young Kael stands before the council of priests. They are in white robes. He in black. Between them, a book with fiery inscriptions. Priest's voice, sternly. You are chosen, Kael. The gods require a sacrifice, not blood, power. Someone must absorb the darkness growing beyond the veil. Someone must become the boundary. Young Kael, uncomprehending. And what happens to the one who becomes the boundary? Pause. The priests exchange glances. Priest's voice, quieter. He will hold back the darkness for as long as he lives. End of flashback. Kael stands among the ruins, staring at his own hands. The veins beneath his skin, dark, almost black. Voiceover. 20 years I was the boundary. I absorbed the darkness and did not die. I only changed, a little more each time, a little less human each time. He sinks to his knees beside a broken statue. The statue depicts a she with 2 faces, one peaceful, the other terrible. Voiceover. And then I saw the truth, not the darkness beyond the veil, the darkness within the temple. New flashback. Kael watches the priests through a crack in the wall. They are performing a ritual, not a prayer, but something else. Before them, a child in chains. Voiceover, angry but restrained. The darkness beyond the veil was not advancing. They were feeding it, deliberately, for years. Because where there is darkness, there is fear. Where there is fear, there is faith. Where there is faith, there is power. Kyle, I asked the god, why does he allow this? The god answered finale, Ash. 9-10. Kyle walks forward, slowly but with purpose. The camera pulls back, revealing the destroyed temples left behind him. Voiceover, calmly. Dark fantasy is not about evil prevailing, nor about good prevailing. It is about people who keep walking, even when they don't know where, even when their hands are stained with blood, even when the gods are silent. Kyle stops. For a moment he turns, looks back at the ruins. Voiceover. Ash is not an ending. Ash is what new things grow from. He continues walking. The camera rises upward. A bird's eye view of the dead land, but already visible at the edges. Greenery, water, the first signs of life. The music swells. Voiceover. Final words. My name is Kyle. I am no longer the protector, not the executioner. I am simply a person walking forward. That is enough. Black screen. Silence. Credits. Act 3. The Choice. 6:30-9. Kyle emerges from the ruins. Dawn is breaking, but the light is somehow sickly, yellow. He is wounded. He sits down on a stone. Voiceover. The god died at dawn. Not from my blade, I merely opened a wound that was already there. He had been dying for a long time, from his own lies. He stares at the horizon. There, a dark cloud, but it is slowly parting. Voiceover. After the death of a god, the world should have fallen. That is what they said. But the sun rose anyway. The wind blew anyway. The grass, and here is the wonder, began to grow through the ash. Close up, a green sprout among gray dust. Voiceover. Do you know what is most terrifying in dark fantasy? Not monsters, not curses, not blood. The most terrifying thing is choice. That moment when you stand between two horrors and must choose the lesser, and you never know, did you choose right or not? Kyle rises. He turns his back to the ruins, looks ahead. Voiceover. I killed a god. I destroyed an order that had held for 1,000 years. Perhaps I was wrong. Perhaps without this god, even a lying one, the world will become worse. Perhaps the darkness I was holding back will now come unhindered. Pause. Voiceover. Quieter. But that child in chains walked free, and as long as I remember that, it is enough. Finale. Ash. 9-10. Kyle walks forward, slowly but with purpose. The camera pulls back, revealing the destroyed temples left behind him. Voiceover. Calmly. Dark fantasy is not about evil prevailing, nor about good prevailing. It is about people who keep walking, even when they don't know where, even when their hands are stained with blood, even when the gods are silent. Kyle stops. For a moment he turns, looks back at the ruins. Voiceover. Ash is not an ending. Ash is what new things grow from. He continues walking. The camera rises upward, a bird's eye view of the dead land, but already visible at the edges. Greenery, water, the first signs of life. The music swells. Voiceover. Final words. My name is Kyle. I am no longer the protector, not the executioner. I am simply a person walking forward. That is enough. Black screen. Silence. Credits.